Just say what you mean what you say.
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment.
Hello, and welcome to Larisha Speaks. I'm coming to you again with another story, Fighting for Justice. I don't know if you guys know, but my crusade to bring attention to these stories where um, Black American freedmen are wrongfully incarcerated for crimes they did not commit. I don't know if you're aware about my passion for bringing attention to these cases, but it's a passion of mine after being subject to the abuse that I've suffered through working for the courts and seeing firsthand how it unfolds. I want to do everything in my power to bring attention to these cases, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm here with you guys with another case, Keshaun Earley, and he was arrested in 2012 and convicted of a crime in 2014, a murder that he did not commit. Everyone in his immediate area knows he didn't commit it. The courts know he didn't commit it, but they still have him illegally incarcerated in the state of New Jersey, Trenton State Prison for a crime he didn't commit. His friend is going to give you all the details in regards to his story, and we're going to try to bring attention to what happened in his case. So I'm going to ask that you welcome Tanika to the stage.
Hi,
Hello.
how you doing?
Okay, so Tanika,
Yes,
uh, welcome to the stage. Larisha Speaks. We're going to be speaking in regards to Keshaun Early.
yes.
He was arrested in 2012 on charges of, is it aggravated murder, aggravated homicide,
Oh no, it's first degree murder,
first degree
homicide,
murder, and
first degree homicide.
first degree homicide. And he was found guilty in Atlantic County, New Jersey.
Yes, Atlantic City, Atlantic County.
Atlantic, New Jersey, Atlantic County. And he has been incarcerated since then on these charges.
Yes, the day it happened, they um found him and pinned this heinous thing on him since day one. Yes.
And we've been fighting to try to bring attention and justice to his case.
Yes, I think I'm bringing a little bit of attention. I'm shaking the little trees, doing little feathers, but it need to be more because not only this happened to him, God knows how many other people this happened to, and I know for a fact it happened to other people because I know firsthand now how deep I am into this rabbit hole with all these cases and stuff. I know that these people, a lot of people are being unjustly imprisoned for no reason. And it's just like they just try to get wins or convictions just to clear up the air. Or we are very diligent in making this city crime safe, but they are locking up the wrong people.
Okay,
That's for
I
sure.
totally agree. So in his case, he was charged, was it with a fatal shooting?
Yes.
He's
He was
charged with
charged.
fatal shooting someone.
Yes, he was charged. I'm gonna say unaliving someone. Um, the whole the whole story, if you were to be just a person that has common sense, if you was to look and hear this thing, you like, why is he in jail?
We want to talk about it because I know in regards to the phone records, he was at home at the time that this happened.
He wasn't nowhere near the place where it happened at. And
And
the prosecutor's office said, well, anybody can use your phone. Anybody can, you know, answer the phone calls. Anybody can answer your Facebook. I'm like, okay, so if his phone pinged at Atlantic City, they would have been like, okay, you was there, but his phone pinged in Mays Landing. Oh, anybody could use your phone. But they do what they want to do. They say what they want to say. But if
fine,
you want to use that same tactic, make sure it's universal. If you can say that his phone pinged in Mays Landing, but oh no, somebody else used your phone. Somebody else could have answered your phone. But if his phone records say it pinged at that time when the homicide happened, oh, it was definitely you. It was definitely you. Oh no. Somebody could have used my phone in Atlantic City too. If you want to make it seem like that. So don't make it seem whatever you think that's plausible to your case is okay. It's not. That's not okay. But
So at the time of the murder, I just want to get it right for the audience. At the time of the offense was committed, he was at home on his phone answering phone calls and
he was
on
in the
Facebook.
vicinity. He wasn't in the house. He was in Old Crest Estates in Mays Landing, which is like 25 minutes away from Atlantic City.
25 minutes away from the incident happened. His
Yeah,
phone was pinging somewhere else.
25 minutes away. So
And
he
at
was
his trial,
answering phone calls, posting on Facebook, making posts, answering posts on Facebook. But they, during that time, they said, oh, he could have had somebody use his phone to do this incomplete as crime that they have him convicted of. But that's what the prosecutors said.
and that's how they found him guilty for the
No,
crime.
actually, they did not find him guilty of that. That's not the reason why. They found him guilty because it was two so-called eyewitnesses that said they seen him shoot unalive the guy in the window 60 feet away in a second floor apartment where, the windows are like project windows, so they're not pier windows. So you got a pier window, then you can be able to see out, but you're in the project. So not saying this is a bad thing, but your windows are not that big. So how can you see all this going on beforehand? And you testified and said, I seen him do this, this crime, and I seen him do all this and all that. But you also testified that you were sitting down, then you heard a gunshot, then you got in the window. I don't know. I am from the hood, so when we hear gunshots, I never see anybody run to the window and be like, "Oh my God, what's going on?"
Right.
Unless you just ain't from the hood, you're gonna wait until you hear,
The police siren.
die down a little bit. So I don't know, if you truly from the hood, you really did not do what you said I'm sorry, you really did not claim you did, because nobody does that. I never seen nobody do that in my whole entire life. Run to the gunshots. We're not gonna do. I never done that, but they all, the two females, there was 18 and 21 at the time, little girls that had their own little backgrounds at the time. They gave conflicting stories. One of them said he had on army fatigue pants and a wife beater. Another said he had on a white tee and sweatpants, and then it was like one of them he had on yellow, not yellow, orange shoes. The other one said he had on red shoes. One of them said he had tattoos on his face. One of them said he had dreads. One of them said he was 5'8". The other one said he was 5'9". Like, everything does not does not correlate with his whole standing. And plus, Keshaun is left-handed. The shooter shot with his right hand. Now, when you're doing crimes and stuff, you're gonna dominantly use your hand that you dominantly use, especially if you're shooting a handgun. Like, I've shot a handgun many a times. I can't imagine shooting it with my left hand. I don't have control over that
Right.
like that. But and then it's like, okay, after that happened, they they was like, oh, it was Buddha, but they didn't wasn't for sure, because now everybody giving me a conflicting story. So the girls had to find out who Buddha was, but they testified, but they knew who he was for years.
But isn't it? It was something with the girls. How the girls had some type of issue with him.
Yeah, from a previous case, one of their of the one of the girls, um, her child's father was unalived by a acquaintance of Keyshawn's, but it does not have nothing to do with him. So it was like a kind of, I don't know if it was like, I wouldn't say a retaliation thing, but it was honestly,
His,
I think it was just like they just made up something just to, I guess, retaliate, because when all that happened, he definitely wasn't in that area, and I know for sure because the streets talk. The streets won't talk to the police, but the streets did talk to me, definitely. But the those girls, they gave very conflicting statements, and then they everything was not was not like, consistent. It wasn't consistent enough because they honestly convicted him off of those two girls' statements.
And
They
one of the
had to,
girls' baby father was unalived by one of his associates.
yes.
Now I can point the finger at, oh, your homeboy did this,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you do
your
that.
boy had something to do with my baby father. But I'm saying, if you know somebody, if you really confident that somebody did something to somebody that you love, you wouldn't have to run to the streets. And if you claim you know who he was, you should have knew who he was from the door. If you screamed his name when the dude got shot, why are you asking the streets who he is?
And so one of the witnesses basically was asking the streets who was the person who did it,
Yes,
and
who
went to the
Buddha?
police and said it was
Who is
him.
Buddha?
So
They said, who
exactly.
is Buddha? But if you know who Buddha was, because that's what you testified that you know him for years. So how do you not know who he is under oath? If you went to the streets before you even went to the court, before you even told the police, hours later you told the police after you went to the streets, but you testified that you known him for years. That doesn't
Right.
make sense to me. If I know a person for years, I wouldn't know exactly who he is. Like, oh, it was him. Yeah, I know his mother, sister, everybody live over there on that block or whatever. I'm not going to ask the streets like, do you know who it is? Like, but that you gonna testify that you like, oh, I know, I know who he is. I know him for years. And then one of the girls testified that she used to date him, but little behold, they are family. They are
Keshaun is
related.
related to the girl.
They related, but they don't know that. But he said he never dated her. He never dated her. He's seen her around. But of course, when you have an entity like ACPO under your ass, you're gonna, basically they paid them girls to give their statements because one of the girls moved out. One of the girls moved out to Delaware. They moved her to Delaware. The other one stayed in Atlantic City. And another witness, the one that was a property manager. I'm not going to get her name, but she was in Oak Crest Estates in Mays Landing. They moved her out to Delaware too, because I have a whole respect the gadget. They moved her out to Delaware too. Why?
Okay. Two
Because
girls.
they felt threatened, whatever. But she's in Delaware. But she gave a statement to them, and she told Keyshawn's family that she seen him there that day around that time where that homicide happened. Yeah,
And he wasn't nowhere to be around.
he was at the Mays Landing. He wasn't nowhere in Lang City at that time. Now, see, the thing is that when they arrested him, when they came and they pointed the finger, oh, it was Buddha, it was Keith, oh, now we know it was Buddha. So they arrested him in Mays Landing, where he said he was at, and it was like, oh, he when they arrested, oh, you are accused of unaliving homeboy. And he's like, I ain't do this. He said, I thought y'all was locking me up for child support or something. Like, I ain't do this. And he said, you will see me on the cameras at Mays Landing because I rode through there myself and every camera followed my car. Every camera literally followed my car. I went through the whole complex. It's a big complex. And to this day, and this is last year, every camera followed my car. And I asked them, I said, is this the same cameras? Like, I told him, I even took a picture of them. He said those are the same cameras that was there at the time that he so it's
What happened to the footage? Didn't the police lose the footage?
okay, so when he told them that he would be on those cameras, they went and collected 260 hours of footage from that place, from Mays Landing, the Old Crest Estates in Mays Landing. They went and collected 260 hours from the lady, the property manager, the one that said that she did see him out there at the right time of the homicide, and they destroyed it. They erased it. They got rid of it. They did not give it to the defense. And in a case, any kind of case when it deals with homicide, so I'm gonna go backwards because at the time, no, I'm gonna go forward a little bit. At the time of his trial, the judges, the prosecutors, the lawyers, the not the lawyers, but the prosecutors, the detectives, everybody that was on his case against him lied and said, "We don't have no policies and procedures that are put in place for homicide evidence, everything." I don't understand why they would lie, but they did. See, because these right here, these are them right here. These right here are his trial was in 2014. You see what date that says? It says,
I
hold on.
can't see it. I see
Uh-oh.
October 18th, 2013.
Yes, his trial was in 2014. And these are, it says foul destruction
Procedures.
procedures. So when it came to his case, these are Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office. These are official. These are not made up. These are what exactly they always was in effect. You see the date? You see the dates? They've been in effect.
02, 98. They were
98.
created. They
So
were
for
revised
foul
in
destruction.
2002.
So and when it comes to homicide evidence, it is never to be destroyed. And if they were to be destroyed, anything you collect in a homicide means it has to have its own trial. It has to have its own trial to would you want to get rid of this evidence. So when it comes to that, the the, the um the the judge, even the judge. Okay, let's see if we can see this.
I can't. What you do if you could take a picture of it when I do the video, I could put a
Okay,
picture of
it
it.
says homicide right there. Can you see it?
I can't see it.
Oh, you
I don't-
can't see it. I'm sorry.
But that's what I'm saying. If you take a picture of it, I'll be able to put it in the video so they can
Okay,
see.
well, it says
And I'll
homicide. It
explain.
says
They have rules and
criminal.
regulations for evidence
Yes,
collection
these are
and
rules. All
destruction
these are the rules and regulations that they claim did not exist at the time of his trial. But
at the time of
obviously
his
it
trial.
did because it says reissue date was October 18, 2014. His trial
And
was in 2014. So
exactly. And the rules were
when they
created
was
in 1998.
they was created, yes, in 1998. They was revisited in 2002, and they was reissued in October 18th, 2013. And this is not even the only one. It's other ones too. There are a bunch of other ones for retention of homicide evidence, and all of them are verbatim. They all say permanent. None of them says anything else besides they are to remain permanent, and if they are to be destroyed, they have to have their own trial to why they have to be destroyed. So for you to go and erase and destroy
His alibi.
his alibi, because he told you from the moment he was locked up, this ain't me. You'll see, because everybody, I guess everybody in that area knows that those cameras are rolling 24/7. You will see me on these cameras, and all of a sudden y'all collect 240 60 hours, and then all of a sudden it's destroyed. It's erased. So I got a call from one of the prosecutors in July of this year, and he said to me, those it was erased because we had to put it back in service. I said, what is back in service? I'm trying to understand what I'm like. Is it like a whole big computer or something? Like it ended up being a flash drive. You had to put a flash. So you telling me that this agency at the time in 2014 had got $10 million from the government to help them with their crime solving stuff. So with that, y'all didn't allocate like a whole bunch of money to make sure y'all retain video footage for homicides. So you telling me that y'all had to take a flash drive, the one you plug into the computer, and erase it and put it back in service because y'all needed it that bad?
So they want to put a black man in prison for the rest of his life for a crime he did not commit because they did not follow their evidence, protocol, and
Their
procedures.
own policies and procedures that was given to everyone. I wonder. I'm going to screenshot this stuff to you, and I'm tell you, it was sent to every county, every detective, every county, every major prosecutor, every active prosecutor. Everybody got these same policies and procedures at the same time. And if you didn't get them, they was a readily available to them because only one person on his that was on the other side is a detective. His name is what's his name? Girl, I can't remember his name right now because so many people that's done messed up. He's a detective. He's the only one that said, yes, we do have policies and procedures put in place for this. And yes, they are readily available. And if they didn't have them, can go seek them. And nobody on Keshaun's case, like, okay, so when I got the transcripts, I can Photoshop them, not Photoshop them, I can screenshot them to you. And the judge was like, oh, do we have those policies in effect? And the prosecutor was like, oh, I don't think we have them. And she was like, oh, if we don't have them, that means that we don't have them. You as a judge, you are a whole judge of a whole, you are the HNIC technically of the whole
New
courtroom.
Jersey Judiciary, you are
Yes,
its
you are
responsible.
the head of this. Now, anything that goes down in your courtroom, you are the above. You might as well be God in that courtroom. You control the whole outcome of everything. And if you did not know, hey, nothing harming, no trial. We got a fact find. We need to fact find on this case. I don't want to judge, unappropriately. I don't want to judge unruly. So let's take a break and we're gonna find. And if we can't find, we're gonna adjourn this today and we're gonna find out tomorrow. I'm gonna have somebody go find those policies and procedures that you said that's in effect. They said, oh, if we don't got them, well, it ain't here. So all right, we're gonna dismiss that.
So that matter. So I want the audience to be aware. Keshaun, there was videotape evidence of him walking around his apartment
Yes,
complex.
and
The
honestly,
state prosecutor's office had that evidence,
they
200
had all
hours
of it.
of him. They
Yes,
deleted it.
they
And
deleted
they
it
went
because
to
they had to
court and
put it.
said
They
they
had to.
deleted the evidence in this case because there were no rules and regulations or policies in place that they had to
No, no,
keep
no,
the
no.
evidence.
Okay, no, no.
And when the judge was questioned about the evidence or lack thereof, they said, where if there's no rule, there's no rule, nothing for us to buy for. And the judge allowed them to dismiss
Yes,
that.
it's
And
allowed
that
to
is that man's
proceed on.
alibi for not being at the crime scene when the crime was committed. Even though people said he was there, he had solid videotape evidence of him being in a different
Oh, no, no,
location.
no, no. And this even gets even better because, okay, so it happened around 12 o'clock, 12 ish, right? So at 12, I think at like 12:15, the detective said there was someone with his likeness on the one of the videos that she's seen at 12:15. So 12 o'clock to 12:15. How long I told you it takes to get there?
25, 30
I
minutes.
drove there myself. I drove as fast as I can. I wanted to see if I can speed my way there. It took me more than 25 minutes to get there. I would say 25 minutes the modest thing if you are breaking your neck to get through there because it's so much traffic and especially that thing happened on a Saturday, a Sunday night, a Sunday afternoon while everybody's leaving Atlantic City. So if everybody's leaving Atlantic City, the rush to get up out of there. It's going to slow you down, especially if you got to take the expressway. So I'm like,
So the detective
so you
had a picture
yeah,
of him at
she had
12,
a
15,
statement of
15
she
minutes
said
time.
this is his likeness. This is a person with his likeness on there. So you admitted that is somebody that looks like him on the camera 15 minutes after the shooting. But is that like, did he fly there? Did he
And
ask
they
him
have
to
this
be
man
there?
incarcerated on a. And how old was he when he was incarcerated? Because he's very
26 years
young.
old, and he did not know. He's 26 years old, and he was uninformed that the lawyer that he had, first of all, was a conflict of interest, because the same person that he is in jail for is the same person that his lawyer represented on numerous times. So
So the
how
person
do
who
that?
actually did the crime.
No, the person that is unalive right now,
Okay.
his
Was.
lawyer was
Okay.
his lawyer too.
Oh.
That cannot happen. You cannot have, that's
So
a
the
whole
victim
conflict of interest.
attorney is also the
His
attorney.
attorney that he had for his case, that for the same person that he in there for unaliving,
And
is
that's a
the
public
same
defender?
attorney that was on the homeboy's case when he was alive, on
Is
his
that a
cases.
public defender?
Yes, he is. But anyway, if you cannot, as a lawyer, the conflict of interest is universal. You
Yeah,
cannot be on a case.
is your client.
The client is your client, so you cannot have the murder victim as a client and then the accused killer as the client too. That
I,
you know,
he was
and
so young.
they but he was ill informed, and I wish I was around him at the time, because he would not be in there. And
So
the list goes on and on with his case. Like, I cannot believe they wanted this murder, because it happened on a Sunday at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, nice sunny summer day. And Atlantic City got this thing of, we safe, you can come and spend your money here, and we're going to make sure our crime is down. But y'all grabbing up people and blaming them on crimes, and I'm pretty sure if they did it to him, they probably did it to a lot of other people, just to like get the crime down, for people who can come and spend their money in good old Atlantic City. You can feel safe walking down the boardwalk, knowing they in the worst place of them all.
wrong person. But you got the wrong person.
Huh?
But I said, but they got the wrong person.
They
That's
definitely do. Now, when I say they got the wrong person, is because when I started like going through this case and I started talking to people, they started telling me about who actually done it
so
and why
okay.
they actually
Be
done it.
clear. I'm from the hood. She from the hood. A lot of us we from the
Oh,
same.
I'm definitely from the hood. I'm from Patterson. I'm from the
So
hood.
when things go down in certain areas, people know who did it. So everybody in Atlantic City is aware of
They
the person who
know
actually committed
exactly
this murder.
who done it.
They are aware. It's not a
They are
secret.
very aware. But I guess if apparently this person is a very dangerous person, and if you talk up, I guess you might not live to see another day. But that person is incarcerated right now. He's very incarcerated right now,
I
and
hope it's not at
and,
the
and,
same
I,
prison.
and honestly, I believe that I don't think he needs to. He's due to get released in 2026. I don't think he needs to be released in these streets, because he
Is
got.
the person at the same prison?
Oh no, honestly,
Oh,
he's in a prison near me, right on
oh,
the street,
oh.
which is weird. Weird.
But so, in addition to the fact that we had these two witnesses, and one of the witnesses has a prior, her baby father was unalive by
By
Keshaun's friend.
yeah, one of them
Um, the fact
acquaintance
that
and stuff.
he was on the phone on Facebook, and there were camera evidence of him, which was deleted. And the state is basically saying, even though this camera evidence was deleted, oh well, we didn't have no policy, even
Oh
though there
no,
was a
no,
policy,
they didn't say that. We have these witnesses saying that you did it.
even though the witnesses are
They don't
brought
have no
before the case.
motive. They don't have no weapon. And in New Jersey, ballistic testing is very much admissible in court, and they didn't even test his hands.
For gunshot residue.
And they arrested him 4 hours later. So gunshot residue stays on your hands at least 8 hours, and stays on your clothes for 2 months if you keep them properly contained. And they did not do none of that neither, because they
They,
already know that the boy ain't do it. They just
they
wanted to.
literally said, "You're a black guy. You did it, regardless of the evidence showing that you didn't."
And it's so crazy because when he went to court and the Judge Sampson, said
Out of what county?
verbatim, I do not I cannot sleep at night knowing that I should dismiss this case, but the demand for justice is too great. I cannot rule on this case. I'm going to let the jury decide.
Now, what county is that? Atlantic County
Atlantic
Judge Sampson
County. Yes.
said I should dismiss this case
I should
because
dismiss
based on
this
the
case.
evidence,
It's in the transcripts. He said I should dismiss this case because I know I cannot sleep at night. But the demand for justice, modern day lynch mob
how
ish
is it
vibe,
justice if you know the person is not guilty? You know that the prosecutor is handing you a BS case, but you're going to let the jury
jury
decide.
decide.
And the juries are biased against black people. So when I talk about
Okay,
a case
so
for corruption,
listen. Okay, so all
it's
right,
about
let
to
the jury
cry.
decide. So I got the jury transcripts. Now the all of the African American jurors that was on his case, originally, they dismissed them because they had ties to his family. Atlantic City is like this big. It might look like it's this big. Oh,
Very
come
small.
is this big. It's a project like one block, and then it's another project right block. I don't even know how they beef with each other. It should be they all stick together and they beef with another city or something. I don't understand how they beefing with like they're too close. But anyway, and I'm like, you got all this like this mess
It's
is.
sad. It's really sad because it's a young man in prison for a crime he
Yeah,
didn't commit.
so basically
The
they're
judge
like
committed.
the juries know his family, so they dismiss them. So now he has a jury, all white jury of middle aged white people. Now, when it comes to being prosecutor of a jury of your peers, where's the peers at? There's no one peering with. He's a 26-year-old black man and 45-year-old white people, not white Caucasian. You can be political correct. Caucasian people are on uh, exclusively on his jury. So they all came to this conclusion that he had a white T-shirt on. I said to myself in 2012. Now, if they had one black juror in there, they would have been like, listen, in
We all
2012, we
wear
had a
white.
whole song. We had a whole song. Everybody was in their white tee and my white tee.
That's all
Everybody
we
wore
were.
white. Every dude wore white tees. They had 3XL, 2XL, 1XL, no matter. They all had white tees on. And to this day, you go to a store, any corner store is going to sell white tees. So you cannot say because he had a white tee on, and because they said all of them said he had a white T-shirt on. Well, one of them said he had a wife beater, but the white T-shirt thing really stuck in their mind. But I'm like, yo, you know how many people in 2012 was wearing white tees? Like, you can't. That was right there. But if they had that one black juror, that be like, I'm not convicting this man because he
How
had on
long
a
was he
white tee.
sentenced? How long was he sentenced for?
He was sentenced to 40 years. 40 years, I'm sorry. And
Four
then
zero.
40 years, 40. And then he went to the appeal court, and then they did not have those policies that I showed you. They did not have them yet. So they was like,
And
well,
he
we don't
appealed it
have
on the
them. And
grounds of
nobody
that.
did not want to like dig down. So one day, it was a lucky find. A sister, a sister
And
said,
you
here you
got the
go.
evidence.
Huh?
You got the evidence, but the state
A
couldn't find
sister
the evidence.
said, here you go, ma'am. A sister
So you
said,
went
here
to
you
court.
go.
So
Huh?
she went to court, the prosecutor's office or whatever, and a black woman gave her a copy of the policies that the prosecutor is telling the judge is
They
not in
don't
place.
have. We don't know where they at. They could be done. They could be like dig deep down into the abyss or somewhere. We had to spend hours and hours and hours to look for them. But y'all don't want to do that because then y'all got other
They doing
things
that
to
in my
do.
case right now
Huh?
with evidence. So now So is he still waiting on that appeal? I know when I talked to him, he was waiting on that appeal.
He's in appellate court right now,
So he's
and
in appellate court
he's
right
due
now.
next. He's due next for an oral argument, and hopefully it'll be scheduled next. And because all the stuff is the Christmas time and everything has been scheduled already. So,
To
let's
overturn his
give him
conviction.
let's say give him the next set of things that he'll probably be in the next one in January. And he has a very very good lawyer. She was his lawyer, but now she got promoted to be. She's right. If you go look on her public defender, her name is right on a letterhead. So now she says she's going to stay on this case because she even knows that he is innocent, and she is sick with it.
And she's a public defender for the state of New Jersey in county.
And he had a very good lawyer at one time, and she had just got on his case, and they brought it into the judge, same judge, DRC, Pamela DRC. She made this court date fast, and she like okay, they gave his case to this lady. She's like Project Innocence, like she was like trying to and she really was going to nail they ASSs to the cross. But this judge made this impromptu court date, and she was like, "If you don't got the evidence right, you don't got all your stuff together right now, we're going to hear it today." And she's like, "I don't got everything together. I just got this case." And she's like, "Well, if you can't hear it right now, I'm going to dismiss all this because she's trying to protect her
The
fellow
corruption of the
her
court.
herself, because she's the same judge that said, "Oh, there's no policies and procedures in place. I don't know if they are, but you know what? We're going to continue because if they're not here right now, they don't exist." And you
This
got
hurts my heart on so many different levels because the fact that the black men are incarcerated for crimes they didn't commit, the fact that the judge literally said he should dismiss this case, but he's going to give it to the jury when that is the whole purpose of the judge. And
yeah,
when we
because
look at it, they want
listen,
us to
when
respect the
he said
court
the
and respect
demand
it.
for when he said the
That's
demand for justice, that means he was breaking news.
regardless
He
of
was
the
all
truth.
over the news. He was all over the news. He was
How is
all
it
over the
a demand for
news.
justice when you know the person is innocent?
They shut the
Why is it
courtroom
not a demand
down.
for justice?
When you become breaking news, that had he not been on the news, he would not be in jail.
But the thing is, he's not guilty of the crime. So even if it was on the news, it wouldn't matter
And
if this the person,
but in
because
Atlantic
what they're
City,
doing is they let the person who actually did the crime free.
in Atlantic County, I guess at the time they wanted to have this safe haven for people to come and spend their money. I guess I don't know. And I told him, I said, if you would have got locked up in my county, they would have threw your ass out of there so fast. They were like, we ain't got no gun, no motive, no weapon, no nothing, no anything. Like, all right, it's hearsay. I any, I
And
can
you have an alibi.
I can see a murder out here right now outside my house. I can see somebody unalive somebody right now. And if I got a grudge with somebody, I'd be like, oh, it's my perfect opportunity to say he did it. Oh, and y'all gonna corroborate with me. So me and you gonna say he did it. And that's it. And then y'all gonna take that and run with it and say, "Oh, y'all got these two people that say
Even though the
anybody can
person has
do
an
that.
alibi.
Anybody can do that." And then especially when you erase this man alibi, and then you didn't even follow all the procedures for your own safety. Like y'all didn't do no ballistic testing. That gave suggestive, when I mean suggestive picturing, you know how you go and do a lineup and they got like six other faces and stuff, or they give you six other, it's different faces, similar faces. They put this picture in front of them, like, is this him? Is this him? That you don't that right there is not supposed to happen. That's called suggestive picturing. Like you can't throw an image in somebody's face and be like, "Is that him? Is this him?" You like, oh, and if it wasn't him, because them girls really did not know him, but they claim he did. If they would have had a whole lineup of other people
Yeah,
that's similar to
exactly.
him, who knows what it would have been the outcome? If they would have did it the way they supposed to have done it, if they would have did the ballistic tests on his hands, and if they would have took his clothing and checked for his clothing, they would have did everything they were supposed to do. They didn't do any of this stuff. Only thing they took was these two chick statements. And and when it comes to these girls, they were babies, 18 and 20. They were babies. They was naive. They probably got threatened. They because they had probably had a little record themselves. And then the prosecutor's office was like, if you don't do this, we gonna do that. Who knows? Because they
Yeah,
moved one of them out of the state, and the other one stayed. So you feel
that's
so
sad.
threatened for someone that. Why do you feel threatened for? And he locked up. They locked him up. What are you threatened for?
That's sad. So now his case is in appeal, and he's just waiting to appeal his case and him for him to come home.
Yes. So
Is he?
basically,
How is he? Is he hopeful?
I told him to always manifest a good outcome because you're not supposed to be in there. Maybe the time you spent in there is because you need to learn a lesson. Who knows? World works crazily, but you should never spend no time in there. You honestly shouldn't have. But it's the way things were going with people in the world back in the day. He's in a safe place to be out and learn your lesson and not be in another place like this again. Never be into any kind of situation that anybody can ever put you in anything other than what you're doing.
Right.
But I don't I really don't understand how Atlantic City is okay with leaving this man in jail, and they are trying to fight.
It's the state of New
But this is
Jersey.
the thing. I had a phone call from the prosecutor's office. This is what I want to mention. And he told me that there were a lot of mistakes made on his case. Out of his mouth.
The state of New Jersey. The state of New Jersey is
The
very corrupt.
prosecutor's office, Atlantic City prosecutor, his name is Eric Berman, he told me there were a lot of mistakes made on Keshaun's case. And I was like, well, excuse my French, sir. Why the fuck is he still in jail? If you admitted to this to me, you said this. And his phone call is on my phone. So you admitted this to me that I made a lot of mistakes. And y'all just okay with letting this man sit in jail. Let his ass out. Let him out now. Say you sorry. Pay this man and move it the hell on. Y'all made a mistake. Now y'all got the information on the real month. Get his ass and let him spend the rest of his life in jail.
In prison for the murder that they know that
And
this man.
not only that person murdered, he murdered his brother too. Honestly,
So the murder victim brother was murdered after this crime was committed
yes,
by the same individual.
yes.
So the family could actually sue
And
the
I was
police.
trying to get in contact with all of them. I spoke to some family members of the deceased guy, and they told me that they know Keshaun did not do this. They grew up knowing this, but they were kids, and what can they do?
Yeah. So
Like
he was
I
able
really,
to unalive the brother of the person he unalived because the police did not get the right person.
yes.
So
So if
they're
they
incompetent,
would have got the right person, the brother would have been alive. Yes.
and he's still out there wreaking havoc on
No,
Atlantic City
no,
with
he's
the
he's
innocent.
in.
Well, right now he's incarcerated, but he was out there wreaking havoc on Atlantic City
Oh
for
yes,
some
because
time.
in 2013 they was him and another guy got caught on their way to a casino in Atlantic City ready to unalive somebody else. The cops caught them and they got caught with the same type of gun that unalived the homeboy, a
So
revolver.
all they got to do. So could Keyshawn ask his public defender to have him test the gun of
I,
that
I
person?
I even listen when the prosecutor guy called me. He said, "Oh, it's Detective what he said Hernandez is on his case." I said, "Well, tell him to check that gun from 2013 because I'm pretty sure
That's
nobody
the
gets rid of
gun.
that."
He not getting caught, so why throw away the gun?
Of course, he probably mad other people underneath that gun. They probably got a whole. The medical examiner that Atlantic County hired, he was from Tallahassee, Florida. I found out that he was finagling and finessing death certificates to accommodate. Let's say if you got shot, right now,
The
just
state.
because you get shot don't mean you're gonna die. So some people might get so worked up that they have a heart attack and die of a heart attack. So instead of him putting that they died of a heart attack before, of anything, or a massive heart attack, he'll put that they died of a gunshot wound. And that's why he got fired. He did multiple things like that in Florida. That's why they fired him from there, because he was not appropriately put in the right
Cause of
death
death on the death
cause of
certificate.
death.
So the medical examiner in Atlantic County, New Jersey,
Yes,
was previously employed in Tallahassee, Florida,
yes,
and he was fired
fired.
for incorrectly writing the cause of death for individuals to
Yes,
favor the prosecutor.
yes. There you go, honey. Yes.
And
And
the
so
state of New Jersey
so
said,
good
this is the
old
guy that we want to hire.
yes, so good old leg city is like, yes, bring it here. We need you. You are an asset on our team because we are already
Corrupt.
that type of we're already that type of entity. So you fit right on in. Come on in. You,
And
you
that is, and again, you can have different causes. It could be bleeding,
yeah.
stroke.
So like when it comes to his case, Keshaun case, the guy got shot right here underneath the ribs. So me being an EMT and me working on a rescue truck and all that other stuff, I know that's not a death sentence. You're not going. You won't die from that. But if you work yourself up and you might have a massive heart attack or whatever, you just because you get shot don't mean you automatically die. You know.
Right.
So when it comes to him like putting who you already got questioned for doing this. So how do we believe you now when
You already got fired.
you already got fired from a Tallahassee is a big a big city. So you got fired from a place that they probably would be like really be like okay what you doing this, but you got fired because people put you under the microscope and they seen that you wasn't doing right. So now this down New Jersey, Atlantic County, New Jersey, thought it was a bright idea to hire this out of all the medical examiners, the ones that will do right, and the ones that will do their job properly. You're gonna hire somebody. It's not only he did it once, twice, third. I found like 4 different articles and 4 different things that he did. Now I ain't even dig it up that much. Now if I go down the rabbit hole with him, I probably can find way more than that. But y'all thought it was a good idea to hire this person out of all the people y'all could have hired, or a person that was fired. Now if I was fired for doing a bad job, I don't think they would hire me. Like if when I was working at the fire department, I was just didn't care about the patients, and I was just like everybody was just dying under my watch or whatever.
Right.
So if that was to happen to me, you think another entity would hire me? So why would y'all hire him? Out of all the people in the world, y'all want
And he's
to
a liability
hire
because
him.
New Jersey don't
Oh
care.
no, he's an asset to solidify your convictions. Oh yeah, the medical examiner, but y'all got disgusting medical examiner. Y'all need to get rid of him.
It's sad.
I don't
It's
get rid of him. I'm gonna make sure that y'all get rid of him because I make sure the whole world knows that I got a disgusting medical examiner, and they need to know.
man. I do want
Yes,
to thank you for this interview. I do want to thank you. I appreciate you. Tell Keyshawn that I said hello. I did not forget about him. I'm still fighting to try to bring attention to his case.
yes,
Thank you for fighting for him on behalf of innocent black men everywhere. We all need a strong advocate like you in your
yes.
corner. You don't have a law degree. You was unable to get more information than the state was able to get
I
in
even
his
I
defense
even got
of
agree. I
fighting.
even put the judge under hot water.
And
He can
I
never be
appreciate
tried.
you
He
fighting.
can never be tried by her again.
Yeah.
I
I
went.
appreciate you fighting and bringing attention to his case. And I'm going to edit this video and get it out within the day or two. And I'm gonna want you to share it as many people as possible.
Oh yes,
And
I
we're going
do.
to keep up with this story because it's important that we talk about cases like this because this case is not an isolated incident. This is literally how they do it, how corrupt the state is
Exactly.
refusing to give over evidence to prove you. That's literally they have rules and regulations
Oh,
causing this
girl,
thing.
it's more.
Again, thank you
Ain't it
so much.
crazy? It's when you get down this rabbit hole, yo, it gets crazier and crazier. That's why I try to stay
It's
above
really
it.
not. It's the fact that they are so the system, the judicial branch of government
But it's
is
not every
so used to
crime.
targeting black people that they get lazy when they target black people. So when they have somebody that fight or question them and honestly can just see the truth for what it is, they like, oh, because they're not used to it. Because a lot of the corruption of the courts is they're dealing with the incompetence and people actually no one questioning them. And when
Yeah,
you
I
question them,
know.
you start to
I
see
see it firsthand. I see it
the
firsthand. A
thread
lot of
fall
people,
apart about how corrupt the courts really are. It
they
is not
are.
it's in addition to the judges, the prosecutor, the police, the medical examiner, their sole purpose is to target black people, and this is how they do it, case by case by case. That's why we have mass incarceration. That's why 13th Amendment, the documentary on Netflix, or the book about the new Jim Crow being the criminal justice system, because
Yes.
they target us and they easily do it. That's why I fight against it, because I know what it is. To see him, he's a very attractive young man. You know, he was so kind, caring, and like, oh, I'm here for a crime I didn't commit. And it's just like, wow, my heart
And
breaks
the
for him.
whole prison know that. Even the COs know that.
And that's
Everybody
the
know that.
thing. Like,
Even
I feel
his
bad
hood
for
know
him.
that. Even the mother of the victim knows that.
He's in a crime. He's in prison for a crime he did not commit, and the courts really didn't prove that he did commit it.
They
They
really
are just
didn't.
so corrupt that the judge said, "Let's let the jury decide," instead of you being a judge and just dismissing the case because of the call for.
Call for
I
justice is too great.
I'll pray for him. I just it just breaks my heart. It
Yeah,
breaks.
there. It's some cases that really. Some of
Thank you
these
for fighting
people.
for him.
I read like I go on to listen to the court opinions and everything, and about 80% of these people need to be underneath the jail. Honestly, like the
No,
stuff that they
the
did at
government
the church,
officials.
huh?
Basically, you mean 80% of the government officials?
No, yeah, that too. Them
You
too.
talking about yeah.
I was talking about the people that's in actually that did the crimes. They really do, like a lot of the people, the stuff that I read and the stuff that I like, yeah, you don't need to be in no court trying to say you got a wrong trial. You got the right trial. But when it comes to certain things, it's like overdone.
And what I
Overdone,
noticed as a
over
probation
sentenced.
officer who used to work on the reports, who used to interview the defendant, I used to have to go to jail to interview the defendant. Sometimes these defendants were in prison, I would have to interview them. The majority of the people that I interviewed, it was a waste of time. I saw money laundering at its finest. I didn't see criminals. I saw people with substance abuse and mental health
Yeah,
issues
that too.
being used to fund a system. That's
Yeah.
what I didn't see
Because
criminals.
correction's supposed to be to correct and rehabilitate, not to treat like animals and make them feel like they lesser than anything. Like I hate when they say inmate. I hate when they say that because a lot of them don't need to have that saying to them. Some of these people really need to be helped because they lacked it all their lives and they did not get the proper help, and now they are adults and now they are now they causing chaos because you could have corrected that back then, but they didn't
And
recognize
imagine being in prison for a crime you didn't commit. Again,
that
thank
too.
you so much for fighting for him. I really do appreciate it. I
Oh, I'm
appreciate
fighting
him.
for a lot of people, not just
No,
him.
no, you know I'm on the same cause. I really do appreciate you fighting for him because he really needs it, and I'll do
Yeah, he
everything in
definitely
my
do.
power to help him because it's very unfortunate case. It's
Yeah,
very
it's
unfortunate.
very, and I know I'm manifesting.
In this story really breaks my heart. It breaks my heart for a number of reasons. But I really want everybody to do what they can. I'm going to leave some articles, and if we talk about it and we post about this case and it brings some attention to it. This young man is hasn't been in prison since 2012 for a crime he didn't commit. The judge literally said he should dismiss the case, but he's going to give it to the jury. And that's what happens with the corruption of the courts. It'll be times where they'll get cases, and instead of them doing the right thing, they give it to the jury is always going to find that a black person is guilty because we're black. You have evidence, a videotape of me 25 minutes away, you delete that evidence. And he is literally in prison for a crime he didn't commit. And it's the sweetest, kindest person, nicest person. So I'm just asking everybody to try to share this story, share the articles. I'm going to post it in there and just understand like We are under attack, and one way that they have been successful to break families, in addition to the drug laws, is using the criminal justice system against us. And when it comes to the point where, oh, well, just give over the evidence, they delete it. They don't follow their own rules and regulations. How do you delete evidence when the rules in especially a homicide case, you never get rid of that evidence because of appeals? And you delete the evidence and then say you don't even have the policies and procedures, but you have a stranger, some person with no criminal justice background, is she able to get the policy from somebody? And understand that I'm not saying that this is just New Jersey or New Jersey is just corrupt. I'm just saying New Jersey is very, very corrupt. As a probation officer who worked for the courts for 9 years, I saw the corruption firsthand. And the fact that this is not fraud, charging people with crimes that you know they did not commit is fraud, is RICO. Why are we not calling a spade a spade? Why are we saying, oh, let the jury decide? Let the jury decide, when it shouldn't even be to the jury in the first place? Because you have a person that you know didn't even commit the crime. So why give a case that you know that they didn't do to the jury because it's out of your hands? That's the criminal justice system that we live in. That's what Black people are being subject to. The corruption of the court consistently. And we have to do our part to fight against it. Now, this person doesn't even have a criminal justice degree, and she's fighting on behalf of him. And I ask that, sharing this story and getting it out. I'm going to bring you more and more of these stories, but it takes a mental and emotional toll because it's a lot. It really, really is. Thank you for listening to Larisha Speaks. Appreciate it.
I just want to thank everybody for listening, because although you might think I sit up here and diss and everything like that, I'm just a positive person trying to do a positive thing, trying to have a little bit of fun and make my mark in the world.